spring morning here in San Diego, and I am really excited to bring you this program because I want you to know that this is really the right stuff. And I want you to know that you've made a really wise investment in yourself. And I want to assure you that everything that I offer in this program is what I have learned with working with hundreds of people, just like you, for the past 37 years. And so I know that if you take consistent action and actually implement these strategies and techniques, you will get good results. You just can't fail. You just have to do it. And you don't have to do everything that I'm offering here today. This is really just a big overview of all what the ageless living lifestyle is all about. And there's three different strategies, main strategies, which we'll go through. And so you just need to begin to start parts of each one of them, and then as you progress, you keep adding things to it. And the real key is you just got to stick with it. And if you stick with any training program like this for 90 days, you're going to get such good results. You're going to feel and look so much better. That's going to keep you motivated, and then you'll stick with it for the rest of your life. So, you know, I think that we all want to just be healthy and energetic and live a long, productive, and a joyful and a fulfilled life. I'm sure you agree with that. However, unfortunately, this is not really the case for so many people now living here in this culture that we've created here in America, a very unhealthy culture. We have all this highly processed and genetically altered and pesticide sprayed foods. And we have there's just more and more chemicals put into our environment all the time. So we have a real toxic environment. It's in our air, it's in our food, it's in the water, it's in building materials, it's in beauty products, household products. So it's so important to also, we'll talk about that, how to get rid of all these toxic chemicals as best you can in your life. And then the worst of all is somehow we've gotten into this really stressful rush society. I don't think you can find hardly anybody these days who don't feel that they're kind of stressed or they're in a rush, they're in a hurry, or they don't have enough time to get everything going. Where did this come about? How did we get into this? So we'll talk about that as well. And so when I realized that this is really what's going on, and so many people are really not living the life that they could and not really enjoying their life and getting old and sick and dying way too young, I created the ageless living lifestyle, which I believe it will give us the best chance to avoid disease and old age and live a much healthier, energetic, long, productive, joyful life that we all want, that we deserve and we desire, and that's what we're here to do. So, as you see, the title of this presentation is Be Bold and Never Be Old. So I put this saying on my business card, and whenever I would hand it one to someone, they were almost always, they'd say, "Oh, I like that. I don't want to get old." So I know this really resonates with people, and it's so true. You have to be bold, and you never have to get old, and you'll see why I can say that in just a few minutes here. So what we're actually doing here, I'm using this slide presentation that I use when I go out and give an ageless living lifestyle workshop. So this training is just like you're attending one of my workshops, my seminars, with the exception that you can't ask questions and we don't have the interaction as we're doing this program. But however, you can save your questions, write them down if you have questions, and you can contact me for a free coaching session. Uh, and I'll answer all your questions and get you started and help you get going. So you have that option. At the end, I'll give you have my phone number, you have my email. You can get a hold of me, and I'll be happy to help you all I can. Or if you were recommended by one of our Ageless Living Lifestyle certified representatives, you can contact them as well and get some help from them as well. So also now this program, as you know, it comes with an e-copy of my main book, Ageless Living, which is actually it's a workbook that we use when we do a whole day or weekend workshop. And so there's areas, as we go through each area, there's things that you can write in and discover about what's going on in your life and how to make those changes and what you're going to do. So it's actually a workbook. So if you can, I really would recommend to print out some of those pages where you see that there's areas that you can work on developing your own personalized ageless living lifestyle. So print those out and have them ready. And if you could have these and go along with those as we go through this program. But of course, you don't have to. This is just you're going to really learn a lot of things and get some really good ideas. And then as you go through the book, you begin to develop your program, and you can always refer back and watch this training video as many times as you want. So there's two really big takeaways in this presentation and in the Ageless Living Lifestyle. And number one is that we have a saying here at Ageless Living Lifestyle: aging is natural, but growing old is not. So in other words, we have to age, but we don't have to become old in the process. And again, just real shortly here, I'm going to let you know what the difference is between aging and being old. And number two is well, I already said that. I'm going to let you know really what the difference is, and that you never have to worry about being old no matter what your age. And I'm going to prove that to you, and I'm going to show you the system that will help you to never be old. So I hope that sounds good for you, and I hope you're excited. So let's get going here. But first, again, I want to give you a little bit about my story so you know a little bit more about me, and maybe why you should listen, and why maybe you think I might know a few things what I'm talking about here. So I have had the really good fortune to be a health coach and a personal trainer here in San Diego for 37 years. Way back in 1982, we opened up what I think was the very first modern personal training studio here in San Diego. It's called Fitness by Design, and we did some of the very first corporate fitness programs. So I was really getting into it. I was really excited about all the things I'm learning and how I'm helping people and how to get healthy and fit. And then the next year, 1983, my father died of lung cancer at the age of 71. And so, the really sad thing about that was he was one of the most healthiest people I've ever known. I've ever seen. He was never sick. He's one of those kind of guys that never went to the doctor, never got physicals. He was always fine. But he was a street kid, almost an orphan. Not really an orphan, but came from a big family, and I think he had to go live with an aunt. And so he smoked cigarettes since he was 11 years old. And then all of a sudden it just caught up with him, and he got lung cancer and died. So when I realized that really didn't have to happen, because we didn't have the knowledge then initially that smoking was so bad for you. And now we know that all these other lifestyle things that we're going to talk about are so bad for you as well. So first of all, I didn't want that to happen to me and to anybody else either. So I dedicated my life to not let that happen to me, and to learn as much as I can about how to stay healthy and energetic all of your life, and help other people do that as well. And so again, I've had the good fortune to work with hundreds of individuals just like you, of all different fitness levels, different uh, ages, different health challenges, and I've been able to greatly improve their overall health and well-being. Again, all these things work if you do them. So, and also in this time working with all these people, I was able to observe and learn and experiment and see, how the physical and mental neglect, how it really causes illnesses and premature aging. But we also are able to learn and see and actually get results with actually preventing and reversing uh, this premature aging as well. So it's been a really rewarding career. And in this time, I've also been able to write 19 books, 3 hard copies, and the rest are ebooks. I've created several DVD video programs. I've created several fitness products. Uh, Currently, I have what I call the world's best home gym. It's called the Vitality Stick. It's a it's just a it's a workout stick where you can do a complete full body workout. You can do aerobic workout, you can do a strength workout, you can do a flexibility workout, and my famous warm-up workout, all at home in 20 minutes or less. So if you're interested in that, you can go to vitalitystick.com and check that out. So I've done numerous workshops and lectures, and I've written so many blogs, over 100 articles, and I have a new podcast. It's called Fearless Aging. It's on iTunes, so you can check that out. And I'm also, I want you to know that I'm committed to, staying as healthy and as energetic as I possibly can, and being a model for other people. And so I'm here, uh, always trying to walk my talk. And so I want you to know too that my current chronological age is 77, but my fitness energy age is around 35. So all that just shows you is that it's not difficult to do it. You can do it just as well as I can do it as well. So my intention is to really stay that way as good as I am now, hopefully as all of my life, and help you to do that as well. Because really what really matters, it's not really how long we live, right? It's not the quantity, it's the quality of life. But we're definitely capable of living a lot longer than we do right now. So, okay, let's see here. Next. Okay, that was my story, so I already gave you that. So, let's talk about anti-aging versus anti-growing old. So first I want to, we hear so much about anti-aging these days, but really I think that's the wrong terminology. We're sending the wrong message to our brain, because you can't stop aging, because aging is actually, it's actually what we're here to do, and it's actually good. And the definition of aging means to become fully mature and to reach your full potential like fine aged wine. That's good, right? That's what we're here for. But now old is a whole other story. The definition of old means to be worn out, used up, unexcited about your life, unable to care for yourself. Not so good, right? But you know what? Old is just a state of your mind and a state of your body, and those are primarily both choices. How you care for your mind and your body is how you're going to age. So it's really a choice. You have a choice of how you care for yourself. And so I hope you see that that's what the difference is between aging and being old. We can age. Obviously, you're not going to be maybe as good looking as we used to be when we're in our 20s and 30s, and you're not going to be quite as strong or as fast and all these things in sports. But we don't need to be, because we move into different things. But you can stay healthy and energetic, and look and feel your best no matter what your age. And old is really uh, how you think and how you feel, and how you take care of your physical body. So you never have to be old. So I hope you really got that, and I hope you'll dedicate yourself like I am to never being old. However, well, let me tell you this. You see where see on the screen it says, "What's your age?" So now you know the definition of aging and old. So I always ask this to the people when I speak to a group. And so I say, okay, so what do we commonly say when we want to know someone's age? We say, how old are you? I don't know where that came from. Where did that come from? But now you know, if you say, how old are you? You're saying, how worn out, used up, unexcited about your life are you? So that's not cool, right? That's just, it's actually, that's kind of stupid, right? So if you want to know someone's age, which really, why does it matter? Just ask them, what's your age? All right, so we're already on our way here to living agelessly. Okay, so, but you still might be thinking, well, that sounds good, Rico, that we don't have to get old, but how can you really say that? Well, in fact, I really can, because I have two really good reasons. And the first reason is, let's see if this is working. Doesn't seem to be working. Next. I have scientific proof. Science has now told us that our genetic potential is to stay healthy to age 125. That means our lifespan could be 125, and yet our life expectancy is only about 80. It's actually, in America now, it's come down. It's actually 78. So that means most people are missing out on up to 40 years of good living. And so when I found this out, I said, well, I don't want to miss out on this all these years of living. So that's why I set out to learn why this is happening, and why are people becoming old and sick and dying too young, which led to me developing the ageless living lifestyle. And the second reason is there's areas in the world called the blue zones. And these are areas where the majority of the community does stay fairly healthy and energetic to at least 100 and can take care of himself and still live a good life. And so these are areas all around the world, some of the Hunza areas and some of the mountain areas in like the Himalayas and all that area. There's some mountain areas in South America and Ecuador and some mountains in Russia and islands of Okinawa, and there's some other islands, I think some Greek islands. And but one really interesting one, actually I got a mistake here on my slide. It says Yorba Linda. It's actually Loma Linda. Loma Linda, California, which is just up north of San Diego in Orange County. And and now this is a small community, and they're primarily all belong to this one church. I think it's Seventh-day Adventist, and they're really into being healthy. You know, they don't smoke, they don't drink any coffee. You know, I think they're probably mostly vegetarian, and they have a very tight community. They have a lot. You know, they take care of each other. They have a lower stress life. They and they and they they live a healthy lifestyle. And so it shows you that even in the metropolitan area like Orange County, you can actually do this too. So obviously, all these people that are living in you know not so crowded areas and away from the main stress of metropolitan areas and live in the mountains, it's a little bit easier. But you can also do it yourself. So now what I'm telling people, we need to create our own blue zone wherever you live. And again, that's what the ageless living lifestyle is all about. Well, one interesting thing there is to prove that it's also there's this guy lived here in Pacific Beach where I live named Noel Johnson, and I met him. He wrote a book called "A Dud at 70 and a Stud at 80," and his story was he was just a typical, you know, guy about 70 years old and out of shape like most people and not looking too good, and then his wife died. And so he was really sad and he was almost ready to die himself. But then his son, who came, I forgot where his son lived, but not here in California, was a runner and came and worked on his dad and got him into running. And then I met him and I started helping him, you know, getting fitter and getting healthier. And he just really got into running marathons, and he actually set records for his age group. I think he had the record for being 90 years old and running the fastest marathon. So that, again, now I don't recommend running marathons. That's pretty hard on your body, but that just shows you what's possible, you know, if you commit to it. So he became stud at 80 and 90. So that's an interesting story. So I think the most important thing right now is before we get into all this, you know, what are we really talking about? You know, what is real wellness that I'm talking about that we want to create with our ageless living lifestyle? Well, I'm just going to read this to you. You can see it yourself. Real wellness is about balance. You know, all the universe, everything in the universe is about balance. It's having a feeling of well-being in mind, body, and spirit. It's having a fit, energetic body, mind, free of disease, while enjoying a high level of emotional and social well-being. So it's all those things. You know, you got not only not be sick, but you got to be fit. You got to be energetic. You got to feel good mentally and emotionally and socially. Okay, and also real wellness also includes the health of our planet and all of our inhabitants. You know, we can't really have true wellness in our life if other people don't in the world. You know, so it's all about creating really a wellness for everybody uh, on this planet and for the health of our planet. So the problem is that we don't really have a real wellness healthcare system. What we have is a disease care system. You know, that they try and our medical system tries to take care of you once you're already sick, and unfortunately, it's all about the money again. It's all about you know it's all about the money. It's all about how much money they can make. They're in business for a profit. Now, our mainstream allopathic medical system is fantastic if you have an acute situation, you have an injury, you get an accident, or you have something that's about ready to kill you, an infection, they can put you back together, they can save your life. It's fantastic. But for most chronic illnesses that most people go see doctors for, their treatments are not only mostly ineffective, but they're downright dangerous. It's now known that the third leading cause, at least the third leading cause of death in the United States, is the treatment and what happens to you if you're hospitalized. Hospitals are dangerous places. There's so many people, you get so many infections and die in a hospital. Sometimes you get the wrong treatment, you get the wrong drugs, you get an overdose, you get wrong drugs. So allopathic medicine is very helpful in some cases, but quite often it's definitely abused and overused, and it can be downright dangerous. So I want you to be aware of that. So what is a real wellness healthcare system? Well, now it's not changing for me. So the next question is, then why really is wellness so important? Well, I think this is probably obvious, but I just want to make sure we're on the same page and we really get this, is that uh, you really have to have good health and a lot of energy, because it's the foundation for everything you want to accomplish and enjoy in your life, right? It takes a lot of energy to be highly successful. So again, I want to stress that I've been able to work with some really busy, high energy, uh, successful people, and they take time to work on their health and their fitness because they know it gives them more energy and they can be more successful. We'll talk about that more as well. So again, if you're not healthy and you're not really energetic, how successful can you be? And there's one other reason that I want to mention here too, is that we as humanity now are facing some great challenges. So again, we need to be healthy and energetic, and we need more people to stay healthy and energetic as they age, so they can use their knowledge and wisdom to help solve these big challenges that we're facing. And here's just a few of them. We still have disease and poor health around the world, overpopulation, water and food shortages, worldwide pollution, disappearing rainforests, global warming, climate change, economic crises, and the worst, we're still having wars and we're still killing each other. How ridiculous and stupid is that? When are we going to get past this? But the biggest of all, I think, is complacency, particularly here in America. We just kind of accept that that's the way things are. And if you accept that that's the way things are, well, then that's the way things are going to be. So we have to step up and raise our consciousness to realize that it doesn't have to be that way, and we can change this, and we can create peace and prosperity for all of the world. So the thing about challenges is we have to realize. So you're probably thinking, well, that's a pretty big challenge, not only to be bold and never be old and stay healthy, and help to make solve these big problems that we're having. Yes, that is a big challenge. But guess what? Our big challenges are really our blessings, and our big challenges offer big successes and big rewards. And success is really about taking responsibility for your life and overcoming major challenges. And it's not really the particular challenge that's important, but it's what you learn in the process of overcoming your challenge. So I think that's important too. We all have our challenges, and they're all suitable for what we need to learn in our life. So again, we need more people to step up and meet these challenges of all kinds in their life, and then we as a community, as a group, can solve all these bigger challenges. Oop, I got ahead of myself. I'm going back. Okay, so one thing I want to mention I want to tell you a little bit about one of my big challenges and how I was able to overcome it, and it really became a blessing for me. And the reason I pointed out that it doesn't matter is we all have different challenges. It's just a matter of meeting your challenges, what's important. So my big challenge was I stuttered really badly as a little child. And of course that was tough because, other kids would tease you and make fun of you. So I can remember being in school and the teachers would say, raise your hand if you know the answer to the question. And almost always knew the answer, but I wouldn't raise my hand because I was afraid I was going to stutter, and then all the kids would laugh at me, you know. So when you stutter, you become kind of introverted because you're not able and you're not confident in being able to express what you want to say. So you just don't say anything, you know. And so, but my first blessing was, even though I became introverted in that way, I became physically extroverted. You know, I was fortunate that I could run fast and I got in good shape and I could do good in sports and athletics. So I got through school pretty well. But then in the year 2000, when I did write my first main book, Ageless Living, all the marketing and media people said, well, Rico, this is your program. You're the model for it. You got to get your message out to the world. You got to go out and speak. Now, as you can imagine, for someone who stutters, becoming a public speaker is the last thing you think you'll ever be. That's the last thing I ever thought I would be. Now, as I got older, I didn't stutter nearly as badly, but I still stuttered, you know, so I totally resisted. I said, there's no way that I can go out and speak to groups or be a public speaker or make videos or anything like this. And then I realized that here uh, I'm telling my clients to they have to meet their challenge. You know, you come on, you can do this. And here I wasn't meeting my big challenge. So I realized I got to step up and meet my challenge. So I took this speaking class. Oh man, and I remember the first time I'm standing in front of this group of people, my first time to speak, and my heart is pounding, and I had this, you know, I had this my stomach is, you know, I feel this in my stomach, and my heart's pounding, sweat's coming down my face, and so I went ahead and did the best I could, and what I realized, everybody there was, they all clapped for me and said you did good, and so I said, well, you know what, maybe I could be a speaker. But my defining moment came. I was in this next speaking class with this actor, and he said, look, yes, your voice and how you move on the stage and your content, all really important. But if you really want to connect with the audience, just speak from your heart, tell your truth. And I thought, well, okay, I could do that. I have a good message. I have something of value to give out. I could do that. So I just kept working on it. And now I am a public speaker. I sure have a long way to go to be considered a really good speaker, but I have a great message and I think people respond to it. And I love to go out and speak now. And so it became my blessing. I'm able to get this message out to the world. And I'm able to be here today to create this training program for you. So I just want to show you that no matter what challenges we have, uh, you can overcome them, but you just have to step up. And you know, the best thing is about a challenge, you just have to face your fear. When you actually face your fear, it actually diminishes. You know, when you resist it, it just gets bigger. But when you step into it, it just kind of dissipates. So true. All right. So I want to give you this quick little slide here, some stunning facts, and then we're going to get into really to the program. So as I said before, our lifespan could be 125, but our life expectancy is only about 80. And you know, in the United States for longevity, we're only ranked, I think it's 29th now, only 29th for longevity in the world. Something's really wrong with this picture. Here we are, the most advanced technological and primarily, you know, high standard of living in the whole world, and yet we don't live very long. I just saw longevity spelled wrong on there. And we're only ranked for quality of healthcare quality 31st in the world. And we're definitely now, I think us in Mexico are the most obese, overweight countries. So we got a lot of health challenges. We got a lot of things that we really need to work on. And I already mentioned that the third leading cause of death is our medical system. So what really is the root cause? Well, it's definitely our lifestyle. You know, even the conservative AMA, the American Medical Association, will now say that up to 80% of all degenerative diseases that are killing most people, like heart disease, cancer, and diabetes, is preventable with a healthy lifestyle. So we know that it's definitely a lifestyle. And we also know now that uh, our genes, genetics plays really a small role in how healthy we're going to be and how long we're going to live. And the new study of epigenetics has discovered that our genes, which we used to think were just they're put in stone, we got our genes and we're stuck with them and that's it. We can't do nothing about it. And so people could always say, oh, I got bad genes. Well, you can't use that excuse anymore because we know now from the study of epigenetics that our genes are actually can be actually affected and altered by our environment, both externally and internally. So what we're dealing with outside our environment and what we're internally, what we're thinking, feeling, what we're eating, what we're taking care of our body definitely affects our genes, and that affects how healthy we're going to be and how long we're going to be, how long we can live. So I've already told you this, but the ageless living lifestyle, aging is natural, growing old is not. And again, ageless living, it's really a complete mind, body, and spiritual wellness system uh, that, again, I believe will give us all the best possibility to avoid disease, which is just dis-ease in the body, and old age, and live a much healthier, energetic, long, wonderful life. Okay. So I just threw this cartoon in there. Usually people get a little laugh. So this is not quite the lifestyles we're talking about. This guy on this, drinking his beer with a remote sitting on his couch, and this lady here smoking her cigarette and all this makeup and all dressed up and really into her looks. Although she's looking pretty good at the moment, but I don't think that's going to last too long. Okay, being all concerned about how you look instead of how you feel, how healthy you are. Okay, so here's a concept that I came up with. Uh, I hope it resonates with you. But to make your second half of your life better than the first. Does that make sense? See, it makes sense to me. Right now, the way it is, we're such a youth culture that we think everything is so great when we're 20s and 30s. It is, or 40s. And then after that, it starts to go downhill. You hear all about this. Oh, I'm getting old. I'm going downhill. And then most people just dread getting old and everything gets worse and then you die. It shouldn't be that way. Nothing should be that way. Think about this. As we age, we gain lots of knowledge and wisdom and we know how to live and we know how to feel much better about ourselves. We should. And then so we have all this knowledge and wisdom about how to live. So our life actually is getting better, but what brings us down is our health. So if you take care of your health and you still can stay healthy and energetic, then your life can get better. It will get better. I promise you it can and it should. And we need you to, and we need that to happen. So just keep that in mind that we're going to make the second half of our life better than the first. Well, I already said that, right? Okay, so you can look and feel your best all of your life. And I think that should be our goal of all of us, to just, we all want to look good, right? We want to feel good. That's the most important thing is how well you feel. Uh, there's a saying that looking good is great, but feeling good is everything. It's all about how we feel, both mentally and physically. So what I've done to make it, I know everybody is so busy these days and we're inundated with so much information and can get really complex about nutrition and fitness and mindsets and all these things. And it's all important, but it has to be something. I've tried to boil it down to where it's really simple, clear, and basic things that you can do that really make a difference. So what I came up with is it's all about mastering what I call the 7 essentials of ageless living. It's actually just the 7 essentials of living. Now, these are all the things that you're already doing just to stay alive. But the problem is we haven't learned to master them. It's our beliefs and our thoughts. We're always thinking and we have beliefs and we're always thinking, right? And next, we have to breathe, we have to drink, we have to eat, we have to eliminate waste product, we have to move, and we have to get our rest. So these are I boil it down to these are the 7 essentials so that if you learn to master these, it's just going to explode your life to the next level. And it's real simple stuff. You're already doing it, so why not learn how to do it a little bit better? Does that make sense? All right. So here's another idea I have is it's all about asking the right questions these days because we have most all the answers, right? I mean, we live in a time when we have acquired so much knowledge. Not that we know everything, we're going to be learning much more, but yet, and we have the source. All you can Google anything these days. There's no excuse for not hardly learning anything or getting educated. So much things are out there on the internet. So you can Google anything. There's all kind of training programs for every subject, just like the one you're watching right now. So the thing you have to do about those 7 essentials of life is ask the question, what am I thinking and believing, and how am I eating, and how am I taking care of my body? So go through all those 7 and ask yourself, yeah, what am I doing here? What could I be doing better? Because we have the answers for you. Okay. So the Ageless Living lifestyle is divided into 3 major strategies: the clear strategy, the can, no, the care strategy, and the can strategy. The clear strategy is all about mindset. It's all about it's the mental emotional component. So we know that what begins in the mind in our mental emotional state manifests in a physical body. It all starts in our mental emotional state. So unless you get your clear strategy and you're really clear on what your life's about and who you are and what your possibilities are, uh, you're never going to stick with, no matter what you do, you won't be sticking with a healthy eating or an exercise program like most people don't, because I think they're really unclear on, again, what their life really all about and what their purpose is. And what I've come up with all these years, especially, being a fitness trainer, all the amazing different benefits of being fit and having lots of energy and just of exercising regularly. So we always wonder, why do people have such a hard time sticking with it when we know of all the benefits? You just have to do it and you'll get the results. I think there's a little bit of a disconnect between our spiritual self and our physical self. And there's not any there's no disconnection. It's one and the same, actually. So I think most people have some form of religious or spiritual beliefs, and most people believe in a hereafter or some kind of a creator or some version of God. So I just want people to think about this, that we are actually eternal spirit. All the spiritual teachings that I've learned say that we are eternal spiritual beings and that we're here on this planet with this physical body for a purpose, and we're here to learn and to grow and have these learning experiences to raise our consciousness to become a higher conscious spiritual being, but also to enjoy this life as well. So when you have that mindset, then you will realize that your physical body is your gift from God, however you think of God, and it's your vehicle to do what you're meant to do on this planet. So therefore, it follows to me that you would be able to take take the very best possible care of that physical body, because you only get one, right? I like to ask people, if you only got one car, one automobile in your whole life, would you take really good care of it? Everybody goes, yeah. Well, that obviously you know what's coming next. Well, you only get one body, so why aren't you taking the very best possible care you can of it? That makes sense? Okay. So the clear strategy you see there, it's actually also I forgot what that means. I forgot what it is. Not an antonym. Anyway, C stands for choosing to take responsibility for my body, my health, and my life. Uh, L stands for loving myself unconditionally, so important. Emotions, having emotions that are strong, passionate, and focused on permanent results. Taking action, being consistent to reach my goals, and realizing what's truly important in my life. So here's the most important thing that we all need to really hone in on and focus on, is that your beliefs, your thoughts, your words, your feelings are creating your reality. There's no such thing as one reality. We're all creating different realities. So it's so important to understand that, that whatever you're believing, uh, then that's what creates your thoughts. and then the thoughts you it creates words what you're saying, and that creates your emotions and your feelings, and we're feeling beings. So then however you're feeling, that's that kind of dictates the actions that you take, and of course the actions that you take are giving you the results that you are receiving. That's your reality. And then as you keep believing and thinking and saying and feeling these same things over and over again, they become habitual. They create your habits, and sometimes we get stuck in these old habits, and that's why we're stuck in the life that we have. But the great thing about beliefs is you can believe anything that you want. You can change your beliefs. That's the great thing about it. So so the most important thing to realize is one thing that you can believe. If there's anything in any area of your life, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your financial situation, your business, uh, or your health, if it's not going just the way you want it to, or as good as you want it to, you can realize that you're having some limiting beliefs and thoughts and words that are holding you back. You just have to accept that it's true, and not blame anybody else or anything else. It's you. So once you realize that, then you can change your beliefs and you can believe whatever you want. So the best belief to have is, why not choose to always have the best belief about yourself and your possibilities in your life? Doesn't that make sense? So even if you're not sure this is the truth, but doesn't it feel a lot better to believe that you can create anything? You, you have unlimited possibilities, that your life can be just as fantastic, even better than you can imagine. Isn't that a better way to think and feel than to believe, oh, it's not going to happen. It's really tough. Those old kind of old beliefs that it's a dog eat dog world and it's tough and it's going to be really hard. If you believe that, well, then that's your reality. That's what you're going to accept. But the more people that believe in really good positive ideas and what's possible, that's going to change the world and it's going to change your life. And I think what's a real important thing to know is, let's see, I got ahead of myself here. Okay, so no, this is good. So one of the number one cause of becoming old, well, we just talked about belief. It's the belief that that's what's going to happen. See, if you buy into the normal social narrative that it's inevitable, we're all just going to get old and sick and maybe end up in a nursing home and die around 80. Well, that's probably what you're going to create. So you know what? We always have all these stories and thoughts running through our mind all the time about why our life is the way it is and what's possible in our life, and they're mostly negative. So if you buy into this negative narrative that you're creating in your mind, which I call, that's the real fake news. It's not what's on the nightly news these days. That's not what you have to worry about. You got to worry about that fake news that's going through your mind that you're creating about your life all the time. So if you buy into your own fake news, that you're stuck, and that's what you're probably going to create. So the first thing is, you have to you have to believe that you can stay healthy and energetic all your life, and then you give yourself a good possibility of doing it. So you have to change your story if you're going to change your life. I created this equation here, and it says my experiences plus my response to those experiences equal my outcome. Me plus Mr. equal Mo. My experiences plus my responses to those experiences equal my outcomes in my life. So I want to just briefly go over this. There's only really two emotions. Every other emotion comes down to either love or in fear. Okay. So it's really important to understand this, because our emotions are what's creating our feelings. And again, our feelings is what creating how we actually act and how we show up in the world. So when you're in love, which is the primary emotion in the world, love actually is another name for God. And love is the dominant force in the universe. Okay. And I think all higher conscious people really have learned to understand that. So anytime that you're feeling healthy and you're feeling positive and optimistic and grateful, and and you're excited about your life, then you're in love. You're in love mode, and and that's when you prosper. But anytime that you're feeling negativity, or you're complaining, or you're angry, or you're jealous, or you have regrets, then that means you're in fear. Those are all fear-based things. And you know a great definition of fear is, as you see on the screen there, fear is visualizing what you don't want to happen. It's visualizing what you don't want to happen. It hasn't even happened. Most of the things that we concern about and we worry about never even happen. So another thing about fear is just an absence of love. Again, love is the dominant way. We're created in love, and that's our natural state. But somehow we got involved. We got into this culture of fear and stress and fighting each other. So fear is just an absence of love, just as darkness is just an absence of light. I really like this analogy because, as you know, darkness is not really a fixed thing. Light is, like the sun and the universe, it's always light, right? But as just as clouds or something block out the or the moon, or other planets block out the sun for a while and creates night, that creates darkness. But darkness is just an absence of the light. Darkness doesn't block out light. In other words, if you have a room that's dark and you open the door from a light room, some of that light goes in and lights up the dark room. But the darkness doesn't come out of the dark room and make the light room dark, right? So I think you see that. So darkness is just an absence of light, as is fear is just an absence of love. So just stay in love. Catch yourself whenever it's all about awareness. Whenever you're in any kind of a negative feeling or complaining or angry or this, just say, oh man, I'm in fear here. That doesn't serve me. I'm going back into thinking about what I really want to do. So one of the best terms that I've learned is to focus. We only struggle when we're focusing on what we don't want in our life. So just keep your attention on focusing on what you do want. If you're focusing about, oh, I don't want to have this job anymore, I don't want to be sick, I don't want this and that, just think about what you do want. Keep that in mind, and that's what you're going to create. So I just real briefly I want to talk about purpose, because it's so important to really understand, what your life purpose is. It's really the key to getting inspired and staying motivated, and so you'll never be old. Because when you have a purpose, then you're excited about your life. You get up every morning, you want to get out there and live your purpose and make a difference in the world, and then you realize that you need a strong, energetic body so you can go out and live your purpose. And one purpose I want to mention that I learned from my spiritual trainings is that our number one purpose for everybody is to learn to love ourselves and our life and all of creation unconditionally. Learn unconditional love and more compassion for everybody else. That's our number one purpose. If you can learn to do that, your life's really going to excel as well. So another good idea is the more you love yourself and your life, the better your life becomes. So important. Now, I want to give you an exercise here that will help you out to create clarity, and it's called the 30-day clarity exercise. So here's how you do this. You get yourself a sheet of paper, like 8.5, 11 piece of paper, and no, I'm sorry, not a piece of paper. I want you to get one of those spiral 8.5 by 11 notebooks. And so on one sheet, on the first day, you divide it into thirds horizontally, and the top third you write down, this is what I really need in my life right now. These are the things that are critical, and you may need to get your teeth fixed right away. You need to get your car fixed. You maybe need to get a new job. Maybe you need to get out of this bad relationship. Maybe you need to just change your mindset, or I need to start exercising. Something that that you really need to start doing. It's getting critical. So you write that down. Don't take too long. Just whatever pops in your mind, write it down. Then in the middle space, you write down what you really want in your life. Now here's where it's fun. Now this can go from everything to just saying, well, I want to have more peace in my life, or I want to start playing golf, or whatever that is, to all the way that I want to make $1 billion, or I want to get a yacht and sail around the world, whatever it is. Think from the smallest to the biggest. Have fun with it. That's what you really want. And then on the third part, this is how you want to show up in the world. In other words, what is your purpose? What are you here to accomplish? What can you contribute? What is your worth here? So just whatever comes to your mind. And then the next day, don't look at what you wrote the previous day, and you keep doing that every day for 30 days, and you'll see how it starts to get clearer and clearer. And by the end of 30 days, you're going to be really clear on what you really need to do right now, and what it is that you really want in your life, and how you want your life to be. So important, because most people just go through your life and we don't even really know what we want or what we need or what we should be doing. So clarity is a big number one where you got to start. That's for everything in your life, not just for health and wellness. So I just can't hope I convince you enough that you need to do this 30-day exercise. It'll change your life. It'll be life changing. So I hope that works for you. I hope you'll do that. Okay? And if you do that, you will become a powerful person. Everybody would like to be powerful, right? Well, guess what? It's so easy to be powerful. In order to be powerful, you just have to take responsibility for everything in your life. You're responsible for creating everything in your life, and that means that you take it in your power. Because if you don't like the way one certain thing is in your life right now, you can change it because you created that one. Now you can create something better. But if you just, but if you're a victim, if you think something, if you're blaming the government or the economy or other people for your circumstance, then you're a victim. You give up all your power. See that? It's so simple stuff. All this stuff is just basic, real simple stuff that we should have really learned really well when we're like small kids. So just take responsibility and you'll be living a powerful life. So the next is the care strategy. The care strategy stands for connecting to your body, appreciating your body, respecting your body, enjoying your body, and caring for your body. This is what you actually do now. Now that you're clear on what your life's about and you're excited and you're motivated, you got your purpose, now you got to take care of yourself. So I like to tell people that think about your body as a temple, right? It's a temple of your spirit. So don't treat it like a motel, like so many people do. God inside. That's the other spiritual term that I've learned, that a part of God is inside of us. We're a part of God. So I have two examples, analogies I think that will kind of bring this home to you about caring, how important it is to care for your body. Think about if you wanted to go out in your backyard and you wanted to build a storage shed, okay? But like most people do with their diet or their exercise, they're in a hurry. They don't want to spend too much money or time on it. So you just go out in the yard and you find some old piece of wood and maybe got some knot holes and they're not very straight. And you find some chicken wire and some old rusty nails and maybe some, I don't know, a tin roof, and you slap together this shed. So when you look at it, it's not very aesthetically pleasing, and it's not really functional because it's not really squared up and all that, and it's not very strong. So when the first big storm wind comes, it just blows all your shed down, destroys it. So that's that's analogy to how some people are treating their body. If you're not getting the proper exercise and the proper nutrition and getting enough sleep, your body is not going to look very good, right? Like most people, out of shape, flabby, overweight, weak. And the shed didn't function very good as your body's not functioning very good as well, right? And then what happens? Again, the storm in this case for the shed, but for you, some kind of illness thing comes along and your body can't handle it very well, and you start getting sick and you get weaker and you end up dying, getting sick and dying way too young, right? Do you see that? And here's another one I like, maybe even better. Let's say you want to go on a trip from San Diego to San Francisco in your car. It's about 550 miles. So you start off, but again, once again, you're not being very careful. You don't really pay attention to your car. You don't tune it up, and you don't give it the highest test fuel. You don't really care for it. So you take off, and it's kind of there's a lot of hills, and you're going uphill most of the way. It's like going from south to north. It looks like you're climbing, but you are. The elevation's a little higher in a lot of places. And so you're going along, and when you get to a first hill, just like in life, when you get to a first uh, hard thing you have to do, if you're not really in good shape and have a lot of high test fuel, it's difficult to overcome. So you're chugging along, and you're barely making it. And also, I forgot to say, you didn't even fill your tank full of gas, okay? Just like you don't fill your tank full of gas if you're not eating high, real, organic, whole foods that have a lot of fuel in them. And so you're chugging along, you're not functioning very well on this car, and then you run out of gas, and so you don't make it all the way to San Francisco. So the analogy is San Diego is zero birth, and San Francisco is living to 125. So you don't make it all the way because you didn't take care of your car and you didn't take care of your physical body. I hope that makes sense. Maybe I didn't explain it too well. Okay, so let's go through the next one now. So the first one, remember the 7 essentials was your mindset and what you're believing. We already covered that. So next one is breath. Breathe. We got to get more oxygen into your body. We have to breathe just to stay alive, but unfortunately, we can breathe without even thinking about it. It's run by our autonomic nervous system. But again, you have control. So you need to learn to do some deep abdominal belly breathing where you relax the muscles in your abdomen area and you let that expand as you breathe in through your nose. And then as you blow out, you pull those abdominal muscles in and push all the old stale air out. And think about breathing horizontally, not vertically. In other words, normally when I tell people to take a deep breath, their shoulders come up like this. No, it's not that. It's expanding horizontally. Your shoulders should even move. So learn how to do some deep breathing. Get more oxygen in your body. Most fatigue and most pain in the body is a lack of oxygen. So learn to do some deep breathing throughout your day. I highly recommend you take maybe like a yoga class and do some form of aerobic exercise every day. We'll talk about more about that when we get to exercise. All right. Next, we have to drink. We all know that, but I think we all know that we need to drink more water, but you got to keep drinking purified water throughout your day. If you actually get feeling you're thirsty, you're already a little bit dehydrated. So once again, every metabolic function in the body requires water, and our bodies require water to keep things moving in our body. So it's so important to make sure you get enough water. Next is eat. We have to eat, right? We have to get food. Food is the raw material that our body uses to repair and to build new cells, and it's also a fuel as well. So I want you to think about this. Are you a Ferrari or a Yugo? Remember, I don't know if you remember, this is an old car. It came out back in, I think, probably the 70s. It was a little cheap car, and it only cost a few $1,000, and it fell apart in about 1, 2 years and went off the market. So if you had a Ferrari, wouldn't you give it the very best high test fuel you could possibly find, and you take the very best care of it? But if you have an old junk Yugo car, you probably don't care. You just put in cheap gas. You don't even take care of it. So that's how most people are treating their body, like they're a Yugo. I'm sure everybody would want to be a Ferrari. So if you're a Ferrari, give it the best nutrition you possibly can. That makes sense? So here's the thing. Now I have another training course here, Real Nutrition, real fast, where we'll go into more depth all about nutrition and foods and stuff. So here, I just want to make you know that if you would just eat, as you see on the screen, real food, it would make a huge difference. If the majority of your diet is made of real food, it'll make a huge difference in your life. So my very first book was called Real Food, Real Fast. It's how to make healthy fast food, but it also gave you a overall basic nutrition uh, information and what is real food and what are the best foods and how to eat them and all that sort of thing. So real food is defined as what's grown in Mother Nature. It's organic fruits and vegetables and some whole grains and nuts and seeds and some healthy animal products that are raised naturally uh, without any hormones and chemicals and raised naturally outside. So that's what real food is. It's real simple. Real food doesn't come in a box or a can or a package, and it doesn't have a label on it to tell you the ingredients because it's already perfect from nature. So make your diet at least 80% of real food. Now these days we do have some fairly healthy foods that come in a package or a box. They're organic and all these sort of things, and don't have a lot of additives and chemicals in them and all that. So that's part of it. But mainly, if you just eat what like you see on the picture there, eat real food, so many things will go away. You'll feel so much better and so much more energy. So I came up with what I call the 7-word diet, and that is eat a variety of whole organic foods. That's it. That's the diet you need. That's the diet you can use for the rest of your life. It's so easy. At least 90% whole organic real foods, and try and make it up, 30%, get up to 50% raw foods. Eat as much raw foods as you possibly can. They have a lot more enzymes and nutrition in them as well, and enzymes. Now, one more thing I want to mention is what I call eating awareness techniques. I'm going to give you 3 most important eating awareness techniques. Number 1, when you eat, just eat. Don't be distracted. Don't be watching TV. Don't be having a argument or really a conversation that much. Just eat. Don't be reading. Don't be anything that distracts you, because that's how you overeat. Because we have this thing in our brain called the appestat, which will let you know when you're already satisfied. But if you're distracted, you can eat so much more than you really need before your body signals, hey, I'm getting full. You don't need to eat anymore. So, and you get your digestion's much better. So just, bless your food, enjoy it. It's a time out to enjoy it and give gratitude that you had that food and make it a real enjoyable time. And the number 2 thing is to chew your food. This is where I'm guilty of, it's eating too fast. Slow down, chew your food, especially carbohydrates, starches, and fruits and vegetables. The digestion process begins with the saliva in your mouth. So you got to chew your food 20, 30 times. Now, like protein foods, you only have to chew it just so you can swallow it, but that's going to get digested in acid medium in your stomach. But just chew your food more. Slow down, eat slower. You won't overeat that way, and you'll digest your food and absorb it much better. And number 3 is some basic food combining. Now, it depends. If you already have pretty good digestion, it's not quite so important, but there's a few basic ones that we all need to do. But if you're having, you have a little digestion problems, then you got to be more strict on your food combining. But basically, you don't want to combine proteins with starches or sugars, because what happens is the protein goes into your stomach, and your stomach creates all this hydrochloric acid and acid to digest the protein foods. And then if you put the sugars or starches on top of that, they're just going to lay in that acid medium and ferment. That's what causes heartburn and indigestion and all that sort of thing. See, carbohydrates are digested in the small intestine in an alkaline medium. So don't combine sugars and starches with proteins. And so protein combines well with fats. It combines well with vegetables. Vegetables combine well with fats and starches. So basically, you just don't want to combine sugars. So even fruit should be eaten by itself as a snack. Okay, and the last thing about nutrition here I want to say is that we're all biochemically unique. So yes, you can eat if you're eating a basic organic whole food diet, but still you're unique. So you need to find out what different foods that may or may not be good for you. So I highly recommend you consult with a good naturopathic doctor or nutritionist or integrative medicine doctor who really knows about nutrition and how to check you out. Because again, if you're having any kind of allergies, or there's so many things that can keep you from getting the healthy, fit body that you have from your food. So it's good to really know what foods are best for you, because you're biochemically unique. And again, please check out my another one of these trainings in this whole series, Real Nutrition Real Fast, and also Beyond Weight Loss training as well. There's a lot of things to do with the diet, with your foods, that have to do with obviously with getting beyond weight loss and reducing the excess body fat. Okay, elimination. So important. Our bodies really are a plumbing system. What goes in, it's got to come out, right? Or else you get plugged up. So now you should be having at least two, maybe three good bowel movements every day. Yes, you should. If you're not having at least one good bowel movement, you're already a little bit constipated. So that's it's a bad situation. So you really want to correct that. But if you're doing all the other things right, if you're breathing, if you're drinking, you're eating, you're exercising, all these things, you shouldn't have any trouble with elimination at all. Now, move it or lose it. So important. Now, you may have heard that, well, let me say this first. Movement is improvement and stillness is illness, unless stillness is only good if you're meditating. Other than that, you got to keep moving your body. Think about this. What are all the young species of every species always doing? They're moving, they're jumping, running, having fun, using their bodies. Our bodies, that's what our body, we have a body for, to move and to do things with it. Why did we lose that? I don't know. I have a friend that has a website and a philosophy. It's called Never Leave the Playground. You might want to check him out. Neverleavetheplayground.com. And he's about my age, and he's doing all the he creates all these games and things to do, just to play and move your body, and have fun. And that reminds me, quite often I do my own workouts down at this Mission Bay Park. It's a big park around the bay, and we have some all different. We have some workout areas there, and also a lot of the typical playgrounds for kids, all the different swings and things they climb on and do all this stuff. And sometimes I go there because they have things that you can work out on. There's bars and stuff, and you can get a workout there. So sometimes when I go down there to get a workout myself, I notice these parents, they'll come in there walking in with their kids, and the kids get real excited. They're screaming, and they run, and they jump, and they're having fun. And the people and the parents are sitting down on their fat butt, looking at their cell phone or something. And I'm going, what is wrong with these people? Why aren't they going out there too? The playground's not just for kids. Go out there. They could be going out there and moving and having fun and get some exercise as well. So never leave the playground. So you may have heard the term sitting is the new smoking. And now we know that it's actually even worse than smoking, because we now know from medical studies, that sitting, at first we thought sitting was just so bad because, it contracts your hamstrings and you get really stiff and you end up with bad posture, and then you get stiffness in your back and back aches and all those sort of things. But now we know too that it actually blood pools in your legs. It really causes bad circulation. It really slows your metabolism down, causes all kind of medical problems. So you got to get up and move at least every 45 minutes. Don't sit for more than about 30 to 45 minutes. Get up and do a little movement. Do some movement. Do some stretching. Walk around a little bit. Breathe. Do something. Okay. So important. Keep moving. Now, again, we have a whole training program called Real Fit, Real Fast, where we'll really get into a lot more of all about things about fitness. But in this one, I just want to say that here's the thing. You need to do some daily aerobic exercise, whether it's just walking or swimming or riding your bike or dancing or uh, anything that where you get out and you're moving your body for at least 15, 20 minutes and get your heart rate up a little bit. You need to do some aerobic exercise every day. You always hear this thing, well, you need to do 20 minutes 3 times a week. Sure, that's better than nothing, but forget about it. Every day you need to move your body. Get out there and move your body. You'll feel so much better. And you have to stretch your body. You got to do some flexibility exercise every day, or else you're going to get stiff. And really, a true measure of your age is how flexible you are and how well you can move. So you got to stretch every day. And then at least 2 to 3 times per week, you need to do some strength training. Some resistance training to keep your muscles toned and strong. And again, we go into detail on all these things in my Real Fit, Real Fast. So that's it. Got to keep moving. I do want to go over this exercise excuses because it's so important, because everybody has these. And of course, the number one excuse people have is, oh, I'm just too busy. I don't have time. And that's absolutely the worst excuse in the world, because we all have the same time. We all have 24 hours a day, yes. And I can promise you that I've had the good fortune again to work with many really highly successful and busy people. and they take time to exercise because they know that it's going to make them able to be more productive and more successful. So that's not a good excuse at all. No matter what your schedule is, I know if you have children, it's another thing, but you can still find the time. You can do it. You just have to make the time, and you'll get so much. You'll do so much better. Not only will you feel better, be a lot healthier, but you'll be more productive, and you'll do much better than you are right now. And it's not fun. I tell people when say exercise is not fun. Okay. Well, if you think it's not fun, but think about this: all the things that you do think are fun, you're going to be able to do a lot more of those and a lot better. So you're going to have more fun in your life when you're fit and energetic. Then you'll think you'll begin to think exercise is fun. And then this, I don't know what to do. I have tried things in the past that hasn't worked for me. That's really a lame excuse as well, because these days, I mean, you can just Google all kind of exercises, yoga and strength training and flexibility on the internet. You can just learn all kind of just basic routines for free right on the internet. So not knowing what to do, and there's so many good personal trainers around and people that can help you, which is I really recommend. Uh, that's a really lame excuse as well. Okay, I'm trying to speed up just a little bit. I won't make this thing too long. So the next one is rest, R&R. Now think about this, why sleep and rest is so important. It's really where we get our energy. It's where we really rejuvenate ourselves. Think about this. You can go weeks and sometimes months with hardly any food or fasting, but how long can you go without sleep? If you don't sleep, probably 2 days or more, your body's just going to shut down. It just makes you go to sleep because you have to. Because so sleep is where our body rejuvenates itself, both mentally and physically. So you've got to get your sleep in. And now we know that a lack of sleep is the number one cause of automobile accidents. And they've done studies now that so many people are not getting their sleep, and they're really aging yourself, and you're putting yourself, and you're lowering your immune system, you're putting yourself in risk of all kind of disease in the body. They've done cognitive tests on people, on tests that they did. So we're anywhere, if you're getting less than 7 hours of sleep per night, your cognitive abilities decline. So in other words, they didn't do as well on tests for every hour less than 7 hours. So you need to get at least 7 hours. Also, a thing that we found out that our brain actually detoxifies itself during sleep. See, there's this amyloid protein plaque that builds up on our neurons just from normal metabolism. And if you don't get sleep where the brain detoxifies that, it keeps building up. And they found that the majority of people that have dementia or Alzheimer's have this a big buildup of plaque on their neurons. So that could be that's a major factor in causing dementia and Alzheimer's. So you got to make sure you get your sleep. And we'll talk more about that in the natural stress reduction training program as well, and in the all day energy program as well. All right. Now I just added one on here. It's fun. One of the most important things for aging well and for not becoming old is to have fun. Sometimes when I address a large group of people, I like to ask them to raise their hand if you're having lots of fun in your life. And a lot of people don't raise their hand. And I've actually talked to some of these people, and some people have actually gotten so stressed out that they're not even sure what really would be fun anymore in their life. And I'm just going, whoa, come on. Life's not supposed to be a struggle. It's going to be challenging, but you can have fun as well. You got to have fun every day. They did a study quite a while back on centenarians, people who stayed fairly healthy and lived to be at least 100. And one of the main questions they asked them was, why do you think that you stayed fairly healthy and lived this long? And almost 90% of them said because they had fun. They enjoyed their life. They weren't so stressed out. They had a good time. They enjoyed their life. I think that's the number one thing. If you just were happy and enjoyed your life and had fun, I think that's probably the most important thing that'll keep you healthy and motivated and energetic throughout your life. So have some fun. Uh, and I have another saying: the more you laugh, the longer you live. Okay, now the third one is called the CAN strategy. Stands, and that stands for choosing to take action now. So once again, now that you've got this basic ideas of things that you need to do, and that you're going to start beginning to master these 7 essentials of life, you have to get a strategy for actually doing it, because just saying, yeah, okay, that sounds good, I'm going to do it. But if you don't have a plan, you don't write it down, you don't schedule it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So you've got to create a strategy. Well, let's see. Where is that? I missed it. Let me see here. Let me see. Huh? I don't know. Okay. Well, I thought I had a slide that showed these 4 things you can do, but so the first thing is you've got to set some goals, you know. And here's the most important thing about goals. They have to be tied to what's truly important in your life. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. So they got to be tied to what's truly important. So people have a goal to lose weight. That's doomed to failure, because if you ask, so why do you say I want to lose weight? So why do you want to lose weight? And then they'll say something like, oh, so I look better in my clothes. Well, so what? Why do you want to look better in your clothes? Well, maybe I can get some new stylish ones. So what? Well, maybe people will like me better. Well, so what's good about that? Well, then maybe I'll have more friends and I'll have more fun. Well, what's good about that? Uh, well, maybe I'll get healthier. Okay, what's good about that? Well, and if you keep boiling it down to ask why you want to do something, usually it comes down to your family. You know, I want to be a good example for my family. I want to be a good model for my kids, or I want to feel good for be the best I can as a husband or a wife. So when you get down to clear what's really important, and that's what your goal is. Your goal is to that, and like something like losing weight, it's just something you do to achieve your real goal. So I hope you understand that. Does that make sense? In other words, your real goal is to be a good model for your children, and then losing weight is just something you do to achieve that goal. So when that's your goal, to be a good model for your children, that's a goal that you'll stick with and you'll be motivated to achieve. So that's what's important, to have the right goals. And then you have to get a plan. Here's the things I'm going to do to change my diet. Here's the things I'm going to do to to begin to exercise. Here's how I'm going to get more rest. Here's how I'm going to have more fun. And again, you can use your Ageless Living Lifestyle workbook. It has all these things in there, and you can use those forms to help you do that. And then you have to set appointments with yourself. When am I actually going to do this thing? You got to write it down or put it in your phone, however you do that. So, and then the next thing is important is to, if you can, get some accountability partners, get somebody to do it with you. If at all, your family, your spouse, your friends, do it together. It'll be so much help and keep you accountable. And again, if you can just stick with it, stick with this for 90 days and create these new habits, you're going to get such good results. You're going to look and feel so much better, and you're going to stick with it, and you'll actually do it. And then the last strategy is, of course, what can be really helpful, if at all possible, get some coaching. Coaching is so important. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So on the screen here, excuse me, I'm talking a lot here. Okay, so what are the real benefits of doing all this, of actually living the Ageless Living lifestyle? When you look and feel much better, you're going to have higher self-esteem. You're going to feel much better about yourself. You have a better self-image. You have more confidence. And when you have more confidence, you're going to be more successful. And you have more energy, you have better health, more strength, more flexibility, more endurance. Your body's better, you have more sex appeal, you have more fun. Those are some pretty good benefits. If you want those benefits, you can have them. You just got to do it. So this slide is just to show you really, you know, why are you actually doing this? What are the most important things in your life? Well, of course, there are health. These are pretty much agreed upon. The 4 biggest things in our life is our health, our relationships, our family, our finances, our business, and our life purpose, making a difference in the world. So when you realize that this is what it's all about, and when you get a plan to do the best you can in each one of these areas of your life, then again you'll see that when you're healthy and you're energetic, then you give yourself a lot better chance to be highly successful in each one of these areas. Okay. So I will just briefly mention that coaching is known to be the fastest and most effective way to achieve your goals. As you know in sports, all sport teams they have coaches, all different areas, right? You don't just put a bunch of people together and say, okay, go out there and play the game, see how you do. No, you get coached so you know how to do it and what are the rules and how to get in shape and how to be the best you can. And it's the same, we have coaches in most aspects of our life. We have coaches for legal stuff and for insurance and for real estate and going to school is like a coach, a teacher. So why don't you have a coach for your health, and for your vitality and your energy? So these days there's lots of coaches out there, lots of good personal trainers and nutritionists and all these things. So it's so important. If you have a coach, it is known to be the fastest and most effective way to achieve your goals. So I just want to briefly mention that my coaching programs, if you enroll in one of my coaching programs, your success is guaranteed. So you can go to agelesslivinglifestyle.com and you can check out my 90-day personal training program, phone coaching program. And if you go to beboldneverbeold.com, you can check out my online virtual coaching program. It's an online wellness club at beboldneverbeold.com. And we do have a special offer right now on that. You can join for the first month for just $1 and check it out. You're going to get 4 personal training videos from me. So it all comes down to this. Take action. You've got to step up and take action. Remember, knowledge without action is useless. Life is not a spectator sport. I like to say this. I like this little saying. There's 3 kinds of people basically in the world. People who make things happen, people who watch things happen, and people who wonder what happened. So I hope you're the first one. I hope you're a person that makes things happen because you can. That's why you're here. Make things happen. So take action, apply all this stuff, begin to develop your own ageless living lifestyle. And I just, I can't emphasize enough that if you just do these things, they're simple, basic things, you're going to get some great results and you can't fail. So also, I highly recommend you check out the other trainings. Those are all about the things that specifically that we're dealing with, like weight loss and stress and fitness and clarity and food and energy and happiness and brain health and all these things. So these are more specific, detailed trainings. So I think they'll be very valuable for you as well. So thanks very much for sticking through this. I know I got to be a little bit too long, but I think everything that I talked about was important, and I hope it really resonated with you and made sense to you. And again, you're very welcome to contact me, and I'll help you all that I can. So I wish you a very healthy and energetic, ageless living lifestyle. Thanks very much for watching.